Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! No way! Oh! It's Saber Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the series where we talk about everything going on in the movie, TV, and video game world. I am your host, and I go find topics that I'm really interested in, topics I really want to talk about with you guys, and I'd love if you guys can give me your thoughts and opinions on these topics so we can be better informed in the future when we go talk about them. And if I miss any information, please correct me. It really helps me out. And guys, also, there's a little button down there. Please make sure you press subscribe on that button. Just by pressing that button, it helps my channel so much. It helps us to grow, and I just would really appreciate it. With that all out of the way, let's move on to our first topic here today, ladies and gentlemen. That is this. The Marvels was, I believe, not a terrible movie, but not a really big disappointment at the box office. And, of course, we had, at the end of that movie, we got to reveal that Monica Rambeau ended up in a different universe, and she met a version of Captain Marvel, Maria Rambeau, a.k.a. I believe the name of the character is Binary. Yes, Binary. And, it was cool to see that. I'm actually, a fan of the Binary character. They did it a little bit differently than what they did in the comics. But, overall, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. They got Binary in here. And, since the movie's been out probably almost a year now, some of the concept art has come out. And, we got some ideas on, what the other suit variants of Monica suit would have been. And one of them, I was really surprised that they put this in here. According to comicmovie.com, the Marvels concept art reveals Lashana Lynch's Maria Rambeau nearly donned classic Miss Marvel suit. Now, I'm gonna put the concept art up there, for you all to see. And what we can see in these concept images is, we see the Binary suit, we see kind of this other Captain Marvel suit right here, but then in the middle we have the Miss Marvel suit. Now you're probably wondering, Miss Marvel, I thought that was Kamala Khan. In the comics, for a time, Carol Danvers was known as Miss Marvel. And that's how I got to learn about, as a kid, about Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers in the comics was always, this badass woman figure. You'd always call in, in the Avengers comics, they'd always call in Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, that she's now known, to handle a big threat, if that was the Sentry, if that was, an overlooming threat, they would call her in. And I really love, her storyline in the comics. There was a really great conversation, for the character of Miss Marvel with, I believe, Captain Rogers in one of the new Avengers comics. That was, with the team with Luke Cage, Daredevil, Spider-Man, on the Avengers team. And there's a really good conversation, in there that was really powerful. It was about, Miss Marvel kind of really finding her identity outside the Captain Marvel persona. And it was a really great conversation. And, of course, that costume, I can see why the MCU don't want to do it. It's a bit of a revealing costume. I don't think an actress would really want to wear that in a movie, just saying. That's probably reason why Miss Marvel was actually one of my crushes, in comic books when I was a kid. But, of course, I kind of want to see it really again in live action, You don't have to do, the thong ass, the bathing suit Miss Marvel, but you can do what they had to concept on right here, Kind of like a full bodysuit with the sleeve, but just having, the gold, lightning bolt and the red slash, I would be really cool to see that. But, what do you guys think? Do you think, we'll one day see this Miss Marvel variant costume on the big screen? Or do you think it was just a concept art? Or do you think it's a little too risque to do in a movie? Leave your comments down below. And let's move on to our second topic here today. And that is this. X-Men 97. X-Men 97 was a really special show for me. Number one, it was the first time we all kind of saw the X-Men in an MCU property. It was a continuation of one of the best animated X-Men series ever made. And also, personally for me, it really helped grow our channel. And a lot of the viewers that I believe now on our channel were here watching this show with us. And some of our highest viewed videos on our channel are the X-Men 97 episode reactions. And I've personally been wondering, when is season 2 coming? Because this show was, I believe, if you rank just not the live action animated show, X-Men 97 is probably tied with WandaVision as my favorite Disney Plus Marvel show. But we've all been wondering, season 2 is coming. When is that? And according to comicbookmovie.com, we're going to have to wait a little while for it. According to them, X-Men 97, new report reveals when the show will return to Disney Plus with season 2. Now, it's saying that this show won't actually return till 2026, which is really sad. That means we have to wait another 2 years for this to come out. Now, this is part of a growing problem, not just with this show, but with other shows, where it used to be when I was a kid, we'd get a new season of a show every season. The fall season comes around, new season, new show. Now, because probably shows are more high budget, they are taking more time. They're like, oh, we're going to wait 2 to 3 years. My problem is, these actors aren't going to stop aging. These actors are not going to try to be mean, but they're very, very much older actors. So, if you're going to continue a show, you don't know what's going to happen. They could suddenly get sick, pass away. I think, the thing is, they do this thing now with shows where it's like, oh, we shoot it, we take a long break, then we go back to shoot it. I'm like, why not just try to do what the old shows do? You shoot a season, maybe you're on a break for 3 months, you come back and shoot another season, so there's not much time in between it, because then you kind of lose the hype for things if seasons are shot, too far behind. I think, honestly, a lot of people aren't going to remember what's going to be happening in the show when it returns. But, guys, what do you think? X-Men 97 possibly returning in 2026. Leave comments down below if you're excited or a bit bummed about that news. Now, let's move on to our third topic here today. Lanterns. Oh, we've talked so much about the casting for the show. I feel like there's a new rumor every day for the show. Now, we officially, the other day, got our Hal Jordan in DC Lanterns, which was really exciting. Kyle Chandler will be playing Hal Jordan. Now what's left is John Stewart. We've already talked about there was a name once, Kelvin Harrison Jr., who was in conversation to play John Stewart. Now we have officially another name, and this is what it is. According to comicbookmovie.com, Lanterns, Damson Idris, rumored to be in contention to play John Stewart. Now, this name might not sound familiar to a lot of you. He's kind of new in the scene, but he is going to be in the new F1 movie with Brad Pitt. So you're going to get an actor that people are going to know when that F1 movie comes out, which the F1 looks absolutely amazing. It's directed by the director of Top Gun Maverick. I have a lot of faith in that film. But, of course, we got John Stewart coming. We know they got to cast him next. They got to cast him next. There's a lot of rumors who people really want to play John Stewart. A lot of people want Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge to do this. But I think they're gonna go try to get the best possible actor. What I've seen so far for this X-Men show, for this Green Lantern show, is that they really want to cast these characters right. They just don't want to get the popular actor to go play these characters. They want to, let's really narrow it down to really cast these characters as they should be. Who is the best one to portray John Stewart? Who's the best one to portray Hal Jordan? Who is the best one to portray Superman? Who's the best one to portray Supergirl? They want to go get not just the well-known actors, but actors who they feel can really be committed to playing these superhero characters well and not just half-ass it, in my opinion. That's not for Enchanted Marvel, I think, recently Marvel, when they're casting, has cast a lot of popular actors. If you look at the cast of Eternals, very, very well-known actors in the cast, and I like it because kind of, making it different from the MCU. Like, they're not going after the big guns. They want to go after the small names, probably because it saves them money, but also, they can really build out their universe and people can get to know these characters and not just see, oh, Idris Elba's playing John Stewart. Well, he's nothing like John Stewart because he was in this and he was in this. And I think Damson Idris is a casting I did not think of, but I think it's a very interesting casting for John Stewart. Like I said before, John Stewart is my second favorite Green Lantern behind Hal Jordan. I think it's either you have to do Hal Jordan in Justice League movie or you do John Stewart as a Green Lantern in Justice League movie. Because they're very much both like really the starting line could even be in the starting lineup for a Justice League film. But guys, what do you think? Damson Idris is being rumored to play John Stewart in the Lantern TV show. Leave your comments down below if you're excited, or do you have someone else you reportedly want to play this role? And let's move on to our final topic here today. A topic I'm really excited to talk about, guys. Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. Maybe not so much the movies. There are a few movies in there that I love. For instance, Resident Evil 2 I love because my celebrity crush is in that movie, in Sienna Gilroy. I absolutely love her. I think she when I saw her, I'm like, that's like that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And I love Jill Valentine. That could probably also add to it. But I love Resident Evil. You guys know this. I played Resident Evil 4 on the channel. The entire series is up on our channel right now. I just started playing Resident Evil 7, so I am a big fan of the franchise. But we haven't really got a great Resident Evil movie yet. Well, according to comicbookmovie.com, we might be getting an interesting director to helm a new Resident Evil movie. According to them, Barbarian and Weapons director Zach Cregger could be set to helm a new live-action Resident Evil movie. Now, if you guys don't know who Zach Cregger is, you're like, who the hell is this Zach Cregger guy? I haven't really heard of him. Well, he's most notable for a movie he came out in 2022 called Barbarian. And this movie was rated 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that and this was a horror movie, so there's a lot of experience in that horror genre. And of course, he's got a brand new movie coming that sounds really strange to me, called Weapons, which again has a really great cast like Pedro Pascal, Benedict Wong, Josh Brolin, Brian Tyree Henry, Julia Gardner. And it sounds like it's another horror film that he's doing called Weapons. And so he has experience in this genre. And of course, we've had other directors for Resident Evil, but I feel like they haven't gotten it right. They've really missed the themes of Resident Evil. The ones with what's her name? With Alice, those movies. Those are Resident Evil movies, but those got the reputation. Resident Evil is a campy zombie franchise, and it's not. Then we had the new Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, which, as a fan of the second game, I like that they included in there. But my thing was with that film, they tried to combine two games into one, and it just became an utter mess in the film. And then they also had the Netflix series with Lance Reddick, rest in peace, my friend Lance Reddick, which people didn't really watch because it had nothing really to do with the Resident Evil lore. It was just a story centered around Wesker, which it could be interesting if people really cared about Wesker, honestly. But Krieger says that it's being reported. This is actually reported by Jeff Snyder. So Jeff Snyder, very reliable. He is saying that Krieger wanted to do a Clue movie, but later decided to pass on it so he can do a Resident Evil movie. Which I'm like, okay, so he wants to do Resident Evil. That's great. And you're probably wondering, what does he want to adapt? What does he want to adapt? Well, he wants to adapt either Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles, or Resident Evil 0. Now, if you guys don't know what those are, you probably don't, because those are very, very, not well-known Resident Evil games. But here's the basic premise. This is from Production Weekly. Stars operative Rebecca Chambers and former Marine Billy Cohen venture through a train that eventually takes them into a derelict training facility. Once within the facility, they discover they are being stalked by James Marcus, a co-founder of the Umbrella Corporation and creator of the T-Virus, who has managed to resurrect himself with the aid of leech test subjects. After a confrontation, Marcus mutates into a monstrosity, but it is subdued by the duo. Chambers are going to escape as the facility self-destructs. Now that's the very premise of the game. Now, why I think this is a good idea to start with the game. It is, you don't need to do any Easter eggs to the other movies. You're introducing characters that we have never seen in a Resident Evil film. Of course, as me, I really want to see my boy Leon and Jill in a movie. But, I think, Resident Evil, it's got a lot of work to repair its reputation for movies. I think you get a great director in the man who directed Barbarian, very much a really well-known horror director to come in. I think this could work very well. Of course, I'm going to be there day one. I'm expecting, if this is true, we're going to get a very terrifying and scary and really great Resident Evil film, which I've been wanting for years now. But what do you think? Resident Evil is coming back to the big screen, possibly being directed by Zach Cregger, the director of Barbarian and the upcoming Weapons film. Leave your comments down below. And guys, that's all we got on today's show. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Comment, like, subscribe. Go check out all the other content. And I'll see you next time. Peace.